I'm Mark.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV for the week of April 26th, 2017. Big week for comics. All kinds of awesomeness in the stacks this week and at your local comic shop. So head on out after you watch this video and find out what we recommend. My pick of the week, I did a flip-flop. Last week I was Secret Empire number 0, and Josh went with Batman 21, which was the first part of the Button storyline over at DC. This week I go with Flash 21, which is the second part of the Button storyline. It's excellent. That's all you need to know. I'm sure many of you picked up the first part, and there was a lot to like about that issue. I think there's even more to like in this issue, especially for seasoned comic readers. There's some scenes in here that are definitely playing on people's emotions and bringing back some things that have been excised from DC continuity thanks to the mysterious force behind things, also known as Dan DiDio, who may be the bad guy. For those of you that don't know, Dan DiDio is the co-publisher at DC Comics.
Also a producer on Reboot, the animated.
Yes. But this has Barry Allen and Bruce Wayne, the Flash and Batman respectively, continuing to investigate what's going on with the mysterious Button, how the Reverse Flash got into the Batcave in the last issue and caused considerable damage and then seemingly died, and all kinds of awesome stuff. Josh Williamson does the writing on this, sole writer, but this was all inspired by Jeff Johns. Artwork by Howard Porter, who does an excellent job. This was just all around fantastic. Easily my pick of the week, but there were many titles lapping at its heels, which we'll get to shortly.
My pick of the week this week, number 1 from IDW, Night Owl Society, written by James Venhouse with art by Pius Bach. Way to go, Pius Bach. That's a great name. Lettering by Marshall Dillon, who I'm still not sure is a real person.
I don't think so. I think it's a computer.
This is the story of a kid who realizes that something skeevy is going down in his neighborhood. There's an organized crime or some sort of bad guys that are doing bad things and dark deeds, and so he gets together the Breakfast Club. He gets a jock and a wasto and a bunch of random people and a nerd, and they go to take him down, to make them pay for their crimes, but they're going to make them pay slow. It's going to be one little step at a time. They're going to build up, and it is awesome. It's very relatable and funny. It has a great high school vibe. It's just great and fun. I like comics that are fun, that can read it and
different.
Enjoy it.
It's
different.
This sucked me in from the first couple pages, from the first page, and I was hooked on it too. Excellent first issue from IDW. And the nice thing about IDW, at least what you'll see in our shop, is that they offer returnability on a lot of these new series. So we can take a chance and order 10 copies or 20 copies and hopefully push you towards them. And if we don't sell them, we can return them. But it's a great way for comic shops and for readers to try new things with no risk for us, little risk. And I'm always happy to take that risk to get new, good stuff into people's hands. And this is definitely one of those. X-O Man-O-War number 2 is out this week, and man, oh man, have I been waiting for this issue. It seems like it's been longer than 4 weeks. It probably has.
I don't think it has, but
I think it has. This continues the story of Eric of Earth, who is fighting alongside some alien races to overthrow the Cadmiums. You want to say something, don't you?
No. Well, I mean, he's forced to fight. It's not
he's
he's
forced into battle, but then he's like praised by his enslavers, but also kind of used on suicide missions. So it's like the people that are waging the battle they just want cannon fodder. But they realize that Eric has something special. He has that je ne sais quoi.
It's a gold ring from a space age suit.
Yes, that talks to him. Please, people, buy this series. It is beautiful to look at. It is worded exquisitely by Matt Kint. We're actually out of the first...
Exquisitely worded.
Artisanal
words.
We're out of the... artisanal breads. Jesus. We are out of the first issue, and the second printing comes in next week for us of issue number 1. But I think a lot of you tried it on our recommendations, at least locally. Maybe some of you outside of the area did. But hopefully you liked it, and you'll come back for issue number 2. And give Valiant a shot this year. Someone posted in our Comics Are Awesome private Facebook group information from Valiant's roadshow or whatever they did not too long ago, where they kind of revealed their publishing plans for the year. And they've got a lot of great stuff coming down the road, and it's a limited number of titles. You don't have to explore 15, 20 different titles to get the whole gist of what's going on over at Valiant. And they've got so many different genres and types of books that they're doing. Exo Manowar is just the beginning, so keep your eyes open for the next book, which I believe is... I'm drawing a complete blank. I know it's either written or the story is by one of the writers of Arrival, the movie Arrival. So that was kind of a big deal.
Cool.
This is awesome. And the cardstock. I mean, they're using like heavy
Nice
cardstock
covers.
on the covers. The first page is actually the interior of the cardstock cover. Just awesome.
Yeah. And no ads? Or the ads all at the back?
Yes, the ads are just for Valiant books at the back.
Yeah, there's no, like, interrupting the story ads, which I always like.
Kudos to Valiant. You are doing everything right, as you have been for the last 4 years, and hopefully people start buying your books. There I say.
Next up for me, we've got Ben Reilly, The Scarlet Spider, #1 from Marvel. Written by Peter David, who you may remember from like 100 issues of the Hulk, 2 really awesome X-Factor series, Spider-Man 2099, a lot of great comics.
Aquaman with the hook arm.
Yes, Hook Hand Aquaman.
Hook Hand Aquaman.
And Mark Bagley, who I would know from...
Ultimate Spider-Man with Brian Michael Bendis.
For like a bajillion issues.
For 80 plus issues.
So 2 comics industry greats writing a character of, we'll say, storied past. If you haven't read Clone Conspiracy, I'm going to spoil it a little bit here. But in there we got a Ben Reilly who was a clone, one of these Jackal superior clones that possesses all the memories up to their death. And he was the Jackal's favorite clone because he kept, like, it's the Doomsday origin. You know, the scientists who created Doomsday would, like, make the baby and then murder it horribly and then clone it so that it would be immune to whatever killed it. Except there's no real reason. He just kept murdering Ben and cloning him. And because of the new cloning process, he remembers each of his deaths. So he's a little bit nuts. He was also a little bit the Jackal. So this is not necessarily the classic, basically just Peter Parker in a different body that we'd had with Ben Reilly. He's out there. He's on the edge. He's Deadpool-esque is a word that one might use. I think Mark actually used. But he's setting up in a new town and trying to do God knows what. I mean, he's saving people. He's in a costume, but he's also kind of crazy and maybe still a little bit evil. But it was a lot of fun. It was very humorous and well-paced, and there are a lot of good reveals. It made good use of the page. I liked it. Scarlet Spider #1, basically Deadpool.
Who's it for? Fans of Deadpool. There you go.
Fans of Peter David.
Fans of Peter David, fans of Mark Bagley, and fans of Deadpool. Because there are no fans of Ben Reilly. Next up for me, Batman the Shadow #1. This is a series that's co-published by DC Comics and Dynamite Entertainment. And what's that you say? Batman in the Shadow? Why are we even talking about this? Well, is
Alec Baldwin going to be in it?
Alec Baldwin is doing a Trump impersonation. Alec Baldwin is not here. It does not look like Alec Baldwin. This series is written by Scott Snyder, the Scott Snyder, writer of Batman Court of the Owls and Batman for the last 5 years. And Steve Orlando, who's writing some great stuff for DC right now, including Justice League and... Justice League of America and Supergirl, maybe?
Midnighter and Apollo still?
That could have been him, yeah. Artwork by Riley Rossmo. This is a great first issue. We actually talked about this when we got the preview issue about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And this takes place, what appears to be in present day. And these 2 dark vigilantes cross paths, not in the way that you think they would, and it turns out that they may be more connected than we thought. I really enjoyed this book. Do not skip it if you are a Batman fan or a Shadow fan. This is a must-buy.
And you don't have to be a huge fan of either of those licenses. If you've seen Batman Begins and the Batman movies, you have enough Batman. And if you know that the Shadow lurks in the hearts of men, or whatever,
the Shadow's a little more
you don't really need to know
complicated
anything
character,
about it.
but you don't need to know because
there are little references there for longtime fans, but they're certainly not integral to understand.
I still say that the Shadow movie with Alec Baldwin is an underrated movie.
I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through. I've only seen it on TV, like in chunks. So I will see.
Ian McKellen's in it.
I like Ian McKellen. I like Alec Baldwin. So. Next up for me is...
Who else Josh likes?
Let's make a list. I like Alec Guinness. I like Adam Baldwin. This is my weekly books that are awesome are still awesome. So Kill or Be Killed continues to be one of the most well-written and well-structured books on the stands, and as always, the backups are awesome. Batman Detective Comics number 955 brings us almost to the close of League of Shadows, I think, and it was good, but it had some great moments. Like, there's a few reveals that, you know, they're coming. They're not surprises, but they're very emotionally gratifying when they do.
It's written incredibly well.
Yeah, it's a great book. It makes me care about Cassandra Cain, which is not a character I've ever had any real connection to. Supergirl Being Super by Mariko Tamaki and Joelle Jones continues to be the best book that I don't understand at all where it fits into anything. I don't know what continuity it's in, but it's awesome. It's a great coming-of-age superpower story. And Deadpool vs. Punisher 2 is still really, really funny. Fred Van Lente knows how to write a humor book, and he makes good use of the contrasting personalities of the leads.
And my final selection is actually 3 selections. It is a mutant triple play, Marvel's Mutant Triple Play. We get the second issues of X-Men Gold, X-Men Blue, and Weapon X this week. Way to go, Marvel, on your publishing schedule. Great job pushing all these out in the same week. But
I can't tell if he's being mean or not. I don't know.
They should space these out.
Okay.
Really. They're supposed to be. I mean, in fact, I think we're getting X-Men Gold number 3 next week.
Oh, wow.
So
they really want those out for free comic.
Yeah, well, I think they delayed it because of the controversy, which we won't go into at the moment. But continues to be great. Kitty Pryde leading the team of X-Men favorites against a new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants is having in X-Men Gold. X-Men Blue, did I have trouble speaking there?
That's cool.
X-Men Blue, written by Cullen Bunn, artwork by Jorge Molina, continues the story of the original 5 X-Men who are time displaced and working with Magneto, the Master of Magnetism, to make the world a better place. It was excellent as well. And actually, I think Weapon X was my favorite of the 3. I liked all 3 of them very much. Weapon X is written by Greg Pak, artwork by Greg Land. Lots of Gregs. Greg Brady? No, he's not in here. But this is the story of some of the Weapon X program starting up again and trying to kidnap all of the previous graduates of the program to bring them back to speak at graduation. And they go after James Proudstar, a.k.a. Warpath. There's also some great dialogue between Old Man Logan and Sabretooth. And it's just it's an excellent book. Excellent.
Could Warpath always fly? I really don't remember him flying.
He could jump high. I don't think he can fly. They say he can fly.
Well, like he's like, it feels good to fly again, and he's like in the air attacking a chopper.
Jumping through the
That was
air.
my assumption, but then later when they reference his powers, they talk about limited flight or something like that. So
yeah.
I just don't remember that.
It's great stuff.
Yeah, it is very good.
The resurrection of the X-Men is in full swing and is highly recommended.
Yes. Next up this week, if I have failed you at all, it is in that I have not told you enough that Joyride is amazing. Written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. I believe that's right. There's co-writing. Yes, and then art by Marcus Toe. It is the story of an Earth that has decided that it doesn't want anything to do with the universe, and it's going to wall itself off. And what?
It's going to wall itself.
It's going to build a wall.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's going to make the universe pay for it. No. And this is the story of kids that say, screw that noise, we're going to go see the stars. This is the second volume out. The first volume's been out for a little while. It is remarkably good. In the same way that Buffy the Vampire Slayer used high school as a metaphor for hell, the demons represented things that are awful in everyone's lives. This is the same thing. This is space opera, Star Wars, sci-fi awesome, as a metaphor for teen angst and relationships and strugglings and yearnings, and it is hands down the best thing I read this week. Just amazing.
That's high praise indeed, because there were a lot of great books this week.
There really were.
I feel like we're forgetting other
Also,
names.
James Tinian says, it's bursting with energy and sci-fi awesome.
The writer of Detective Comics, folks.
That's right.
Gives it an endorsement. One other book we don't have here at the table because we only have one copy out on the shelves, but it's Secret Empire Prelude is available. If you watch Josh's Everything You Need to Know About Secret Empire video, which is available on this same YouTube channel, by the way. We had many people asking, what's Josh's YouTube channel? Do you have a YouTube channel?
I don't think so.
No, but it was on this channel, just in a different area. Secret Empire Prelude trade paperback is chock full of all the issues you need to get hit the ground running for Secret Empire. From the beginning, or from Steve being aged, de-youthified in the beginning, to Kobik, to the Pleasant Hill stuff, to Steve being made young again and now having his memories of Hydra. It's all in there. So if you want everything in a nice, handy-dandy trade paperback, pick up the Secret Empire Prelude trade this week, or whenever you can find it. That's it for this week. We appreciate your support and watching us sit here and talk about comics every week. If you like this week's episode, give us a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe so you are kept in the loop when we add new videos like Josh Speaks or whatever. Josh highlights something. We're going to do more of those because you guys like that. And Josh did an excellent job. Excellent job. If you want to continue the conversation about comics that are awesome, join us in our private Facebook group, Comics Are Awesome. We'll have a link in the show notes below. And if you're looking for a local comic shop that may not be local to you, we're happy to fill that void and offer you subscription services, so you'll have information about that in the show notes as well. Now, get out there and get to reading.